episode of GameLight, we're looking at a game called Jet Force Gemini on the N64. This game was developed and published by Rare, the same people who did GoldenEye and the Donkey Kong Country games, and was released in 1999. Although maybe not as well known as other games released on the N64, it is considered by most to be one of the most original titles on the console. The story follows the last of the Jet Force team, Juno, Vela, and their dog mascot, Lupus, who are all the sole survivors of the Jet Force space fleet and are left orbiting the planet Goldwood after the main villain of the game, Mizar, and his army of alien ant dudes destroyed them all. Defenseless and unable to warp out, the team witnesses Mizar invade the planet they are orbiting and are soon under attack themselves. The team decides to bail and separate in order to stop the invasion. Throughout the first part of the game, you explore this planet and save the inhabitants, known as tribals, until you meet up and confront Mizar, who then blasts off on an asteroid, vowing to seek revenge on the human race, so he decides to set course for Earth and blow it up. Thankfully, the tribals help you acquire a spacecraft and some new armor, but you need to gather parts throughout the galaxy to repair the ship, catch up to Mizar, and stop him from destroying Earth. So yeah, the story is pretty straightforward and pretty dark, considering the colorfulness of the game. The gameplay is pretty straightforward too. It's basically shoot ants, rescue tribals, advance story, once all of them are rescued. The game runs like a third-person shooter with jumping and running and action-y, adventure-y type aspects all mashed into one. And you know what? It works pretty well. It has a ton of exploration where you can find items to collect, power-ups to beef up your guns and armor, and one of the best things, the huge-ass bosses in the game. They are so much fun. But there must be something flawed about this game, right? Every game has something. And yes, this game does have two things that are annoying. One is the complex controls that can be a little off-putting. If you remember GoldenEye's aiming when you went to manual mode, it was difficult to move a little target around the screen rather than having a crosshair like most games nowadays. The other thing is the collecting of the tribals. They are the biggest pain in the ass ever. You have to rescue all of the tribals in the level in order to advance to the next one. But get this, these tribals can get shot and killed, and when that happens, you have to restart the entire level all over again. It turns into a tedious search for all the tribals, and can become even more annoying when one of them dies and you have to locate all of them all over again. One of the biggest positives for this game is the sound design and the music. And the graphics at the time, I suppose. The sound is great. You go, pew pew pew, and it sounds like a futuristic gun shooting and lasers and shit. Not only that, but they sound pure and clear and delicious to the ears. Pair that up with some great music and you have some of the very best ever put into an N64 game. Have a listen to some of the game's soundtrack. Pretty awesome for an N64 game, wouldn't you think? The game isn't too long, but it's enjoyable. If you don't have a tribal die on you and force you to redo the entire level, then the game isn't enjoyable and is long. But aside from that, if you play this game, you are in for a fun bug-shooting adventure. I know I was when I played it ages ago. I haven't played it since, but to this day, I remember so much about it, and that, in my books, makes Jet Force Gemini a damn good game to play. If you plan to play this game. If you're fed up with the story mission, just get a few friends and murder each other on multiplayer. It's just as fun. Enjoy!